Hi, guys, and welcome back to part 2 of Nkatha's story. We are learning more about alcoholism, demystifying what is that. So stay tuned as you listen to the rest of her story and learn more about her turnaround. Hello and welcome to the Wheat Podcast. My name is Maggie, and through this podcast, I hope that we can delve deeper into issues and have holistic conversations on situations and things that you'd normally ponder about and ask, what is that?
Sobriety is a constant reality. You take an hour at a time, a day at a time, and you celebrate the moments that you're sober, because it's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy. And remember, we are saying there must be some underlying issues. So I concluded that for me, it was the disappointment of not pursuing the career I desired. Feeling neglected. At times you can then blame someone and you're in denial of that situation. So just carrying the disappointments of not pursuing a career, thinking that my parents didn't do their part, as a child, as an 18-year-old, perceiving that way and feeling like a failure. And as you continue drinking and just doing crazy things, then also regret. You've broken so many bridges, relationships unresolved because you have a drink and maybe say some things that you probably shouldn't have said. So I've lost friendships because of that. Or you just feel embarrassed.
Guilt,
Shame. And shame. So that keeps you drinking. The responsibility as a parent, because I did become a parent, and in as much as I did take care of my son, there are many times I was not there. I would take him, perhaps, at times I take him to my parents in the guise that I'm away for a business trip over the weekend. Check out. Should see how serious those conversations are.
Yeah.
I'll be out of town from Friday to
Nauko too.
that time your child is suffering because a child needs
Their parents.
They need that stability. And it's something, after recovery that and now my son is a teenager, we've had to have those conversations.
Did he express feeling like you were not there? Does he remember those times the way you remember?
In the conversations we have, he just remembers being at grandma's.
Oh, okay.
On those weekends that he wished I was around.
Okay.
So probably I was somewhere having a good time. And that's how this substance or habit can really detach. It's selfish.
Yeah.
So it becomes a priority and everything else takes another position in your life. So that was one of those relationships that really suffered, and it's work in progress. I have a supportive family that were concerned all through, and they spoke to me over the years.
The times they saw you, they mentioned it.
Yes, they never hid.
Yeah.
They'll be like, what is going on? What is your plan for your future? Because yes, you could have a business and yes, you're making money, but if your money is going to drinking and then your time obviously is spent on nursing hangovers, does that really make sense? Those are conversations many people are not willing to have. And when they do have, they are met with resentments, and some people block you completely.
Yes.
I've heard of even family situations, maybe a husband is drinking too much or a wife, and they don't want to talk about it, and causes a rift in the family. The children, if they have any, also suffer because they can see there's something amiss with mom and dad or the relationship. And family activities reduce because one or both are deep into
Alcohol.
that addiction. Yeah.
When I hear you, I'm reminded of a podcast I was listening to, Legally Clueless.
Yes.
There was a guest, I think his name was Daniel. I don't know. I can't remember the full names. But in the episode of him sharing about his struggle with alcohol, he is very intentional about encouraging parents to nurture that which their children are really good at and gifted in, rather than what society expects.
Yes.
For example, he fell deep because they didn't see rugby as something he would pursue, and so he went to university to study something that his accounts or economics, and he hated it, and that's when the depression actually started. And I can hear the same in your conversation, where you changed from something that was giving you a lot of purpose to just something else, and it made you very depressed. So I've just remembered in that podcast, he was actually saying, when you see your kids are good in this, it could be their purpose. And when you're living a purposeless life, it's so easy to fall into other things just to fill the gap of depression that you're feeling in that moment.
I agree. And and when you get, and if it's in a situation where it is beyond your control, that indeed you don't have the financial capability, it would be important to have a conversation.
Not just sweep it under
just
the rag.
sweep it. And I think most African homes, that's the norm. Many parents will be like, and why am I explaining it to you? But then,
see, I'm still paying for this,
or
and
something
this.
like that. But attitudes, I believe, are changing with time. Whereby you can sit down with your child, and not only because of that one situation, but then over this relationship that you have with this child from childhood into adolescent and adulthood, that you can have meaningful conversations, that the reason we're moving from this neighborhood to this neighborhood is this and this, and you will notice this and this. They prepare you as a conversation, mentally, because as a young mind, if a grown-up has struggles, imagine a child being exposed to such kind of things. They may not be able to cope, they may not have the resilience. They may not have the resilience as compared to somebody who's an adult per se, or who has been through experiences
very differently.
True. And I also have noticed that there's still those people who are able to overcome. I've heard of quite a number of inspiring stories where someone was faced with what I was faced with, and so they pushed themselves to pursue it, what come may. It was opposite for me. For me, I chose the substance. There's some who will fight for that. I remember trying to knock doors for about maybe 6 months, then I gave up. But there are those people who don't give up, even if a door has closed. So we cope differently. We make different decisions based on environment, based on mindset, based on so many factors.
I want to bring you back to 2016 when you were telling me finally this was the awakening. It's not the 6 months, it's just when the journey to recovering started. What led to that?
I remember in January of 2016, something happened. I probably wouldn't share it here, but then it shook me. And I remember now just admitting, number one, I don't have a control over my drink. Number two, and because of that, it has led to so many things being
dysfunctional.
Exactly. And then number three, just praying to God and telling him, hey, I need a way out.
Oh, now you turn to God.
For the first time. Because the other times I don't think I really sought God. But 2016, I just told God, you need to help me out of this situation. I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my family. What is this life I'm living? And I remember in June coming across a prayer academy online, and I joined and to study the Bible. and I studied the Bible, and I'm being revealed to so many things in the Word of God. And there was an emphasis on, do you have dreams? Do you write them down? Do you know those dreams and visions? Do you know those dreams and visions are messages from God? And I remembered all my life I have dreamt. And most of these dreams would come true. And so I was understanding, just like in the Bible, Joseph was there to interpret. Yes, it was when he interpreted dreams. There was quite a number of dreams, Joseph and Mary, and I started understanding. And my constant prayer was, can I just stop drinking?
So January, now this is June. You've already stopped?
No, I'm still drinking. In fact, in before I bumped into the prayer academy, I had a near-death accident in March or April. I had consciously that year stopped drinking much. I switched to wine. So, well, I was drinking in bottles, but so I switched to wine. And if I went out, it would be one glass, and I would really...
You would really actually
try.
stick to one?
It would be more, but I was conscious. No whiskey, no things like those. But then one time I went out, and the next thing I'm seeing a story, something happened along Riara Road. My car stalled. I had blacked out. There was a car behind me that had been trailing me. Had it not been a young man who was walking up that street, it sounds like a movie. He noticed outside their apartments, there's this car. Their car's overtaking it, but there's a vehicle behind that car, and they're not helping her.
I'm so scared, listener. I'm already scared.
Yeah, so he says he got to his gate. The car was opposite.
Your car?
Yes.
Now? Okay.
And the car behind me. And
it's
so
just stalling.
Mine had stalled. I had blacked out.
No, the car behind you
had three men. Did I call them goons? No, it had three men. So this guy gets to his gate and he's asking his watchman, "Can't you see? Me have been walking up and I've been noticing cars are overtaking. That car, there's someone in it. Mbona mjamenda kumsaidia?" Then the watches say, "Have you seen the car behind it? There are people in it. Maybe they are together."
They are.
And he says they can't be.
Yeah.
The girl is stranded. It's been minutes for me to climb up. So he says it was just God who pushed him to go check out. He comes to my window. It's open. I've slumped on the steering wheel. As he was crossing, I had blacked out.
I'm so scared.
So when he was crossing, Riara Road is very slender.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
When he was crossing,
Yeah.
the people in the car behind are already making faces at him like, "Can you mind your business? What are you doing?" And him in his mind, he's thinking, if I don't help this girl, it's those stories of body found, what. So he got to my car, he found slumped. It was still on. He puts off, and then my window was down.
Nkatha, God loves you.
I believe, yeah. So he opens the door, and he's able to move me. Like I said, I never used to eat, so I was a size 7 or size, whatever size. He moves me to the passenger side. He starts the vehicle.
You are not startled? This is a stranger?
I can't remember.
You don't remember?
He's telling me, and he's showing me video. He's showing me videos of the car park, where now he took the car, parked. I only came to, and I remember drinking water. And the first thing I asked him is, "Where am I? Who are you? Where is my son?"
The morning or still at night?
It's the time when it was nighttime. So I remember drinking water and just being very uncomfortable and leaving the place. In the morning when I woke up, I didn't remember anything of that.
Did you drive out of that place?
I drove. Ooh. And I was okay because I was okay to drive. So when I woke up, I found a message, a number I didn't know. And the guy was telling me, "Oh, we met yesterday on Riara Road. I'm the one who helped you, etc., etc. Did you get home well?" And I'm wondering, who are you? Okay, I remember drinking water, but what was going on?
Yeah.
So those are the kind of incidences.
Yeah.
That one really was a scare. And because he gave me information and I was keen to know more. And he says he took videos. So I remember meeting him over the weekend, and he shared and he showed me photos. We met at a mall somewhere, and I was just thinking, God. And he kept saying, you looked like you had been drugged. Because that was not alcohol.
Yeah.
And he said he had been researching on mchele, which is psychotic drugs. And the way I behaved throughout was not of an intoxication from alcohol. Well, I wouldn't know, but I remember where I came from. I don't remember driving out from that establishment, but I had met someone I know very close, and his friend joined him, and I left the place in a half. Only now for this man to tell me all these stories. So those are near death, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So when I joined the prayer academy, it was an academy I had seen over the years, but there was a push, just learn. Just you want God, draw close to him like this. I relearned how to pray. I started focusing on prayer. I was still drinking, but not as much. I remember on 23rd of December, I went out, had drinks, came in on 24th, wee hours. I had a dream, and in the dream I saw my vehicle have an accident outside the local pub, and I was in it dead. And so God is telling me, you come out to drink again, that's your fate. And there was a lot of serpents in that dream. I mean, it was those scary dreams. And I remembered the dream, and then I woke up. I'll tell you, that was the last time I smoked a cigarette and drank alcohol. And I didn't struggle. When I woke up in the morning, and remember, my dreams come true. My life is guided by dreams until today. And they do come true. So I now that I had that revelation, I remembered the dream, and I said, where this alcohol, I'm not drinking again. And I believe that was the hand of God, because the usual friends did call for us to have a drink in the afternoon, kutoa lock. I didn't pick those calls. Didn't pick for a week, for a month. They still call me till today, but I have no business. They called for about 3 years. They gave up. Yeah. So that was the turnaround. I didn't go to rehab. It was an encounter.
That is an encounter.
It's an encounter.
And even in stopping this time, did you struggle with withdrawal the way you were struggling? Nothing.
My life just continued.
Turnaround.
Until last year, when I was reminded. And I think God just set me up, because the year before, in August, I used to go to a church, and they had a TV station. And I remember the pastor would keep telling us from January, if you want to have a show, just send your application to the producers. They're so and so. It was in August that I had a conviction to just apply, and applied for a show. It was called Divine Health. And I focused on nutrition. Guess what I focused on? Non-communicable diseases. So every day I was talking about the risk of diseases, use of alcohol, use of cigarettes. So when God was telling me in March, you need to talk about your story, he was telling me, what's the big deal? When you talk about alcohol and cigarettes, just say you also experienced it and you no longer take, and the harm. So that's where it all, that's how I was reminded, last year. And what I did after that revelation last year is now to research on alcohol.
Your content is very informative. Someone will learn about alcoholism, the addiction part, the stigma. Your content is actually very informative.
And that was the key purpose, so that with this information, that normalization of booze taking, which has been there for centuries, in the BCs and even during before Christ, people are drinking alcohol. So normalizing something that is causing harm is what we stand to denormalize by having these conversations. Because most homes, there's no home. I was looking at some stats by Cambry in 2012. They were talking about then that 75% of homes are affected directly by alcohol.
That's true.
Either there's a parent using, or a child, or a relative. And because alcoholism or addictions, the factors that can lead to include environment, genetics, amongst other things, then if we don't do something about it, we'll keep complaining about the rising number of addictions. We'll keep complaining about, obviously, the economy being interfered with and the health. But then what are the solutions? We need to address these issues by starting with that largest taxpayer and just saying, you know what, people first, health first. Can we just be humane for a minute and stop aggressively marketing this product like it is water? It's not.
It's not water.
It's not.
But it's marketed more than water.
It is marketed. and they use, and it's a global thing. There was a World Health Organization report on advertising, I believe, in May of 2022. And they were saying, if nothing is done, if governments don't act now, more and more people are dying. Already there are 3 million deaths every year because of alcohol. It could be the accidents. It could be the suicides because alcohol and the alcoholism can lead to mental health issues.
Yes.
Many people have taken their lives. Many people have broken homes. You know, if we don't do something about it now, and especially for the youth, then, we stand to lose. And what these organizations are doing, the alcohol companies, is they're getting involved in everything. Youth functions, sports,
sponsoring every event.
And then they also are luring the women. How many pink drinks have you seen introduced in the last 2-3 years?
Oh my, a lot.
I keep saying, I thank God 2016 is when I stopped drinking, because with all the booze
right now,
oh my goodness.
You make me actually notice the way now it's also targeted to women.
Yeah,
you've just made me. I'd never ever thought about it so deep.
Sometimes the billboards, you're thinking that's a softener, a cloth softener, but it's a drink.
Yeah,
it's a pink, whatever it is. And it is deliberate. In Africa, more than Europe or the other continents, Africans have been known to even use models to push their products in bars.
Yes.
They're called, what are they called? When you see all this Johnny Walker, all these girls, these beautiful girls, mostly scantily dressed.
Yes.
And they will come into a place, and it shows that more alcohol is drunk because of using this beautiful men, handsome men, or beautiful women. So those are crude methods. And we're just saying, can you just tone it down?
Yeah. Because
we need a sober nation. It's affecting people in the slums, and it's affecting people in palaces. It has not. Alcoholism is those things that is not a respecter of status.
Yes.
And I joke with when we have these conversations, we're joking and saying the fall you will have, or stagger, someone in the slum and someone in State House. It's the same. It's a brain disease.
Yeah.
It affects the brain.
I can see.
It affects decision making. So
functionalism.
You'll find everything is similar. It's just that we're from different backgrounds.
Yeah.
But these alcohol stories are similar world over.
True. Yeah. And I love that you're here now.
Yes.
How has your recovery journey been with your family? Now you're working sober living with your son. How has that journey transformed, and what has your recovery taught them through this experience? Do you guys now have that conversation of what was, at least even with your mom or your parents, the way you were saying they would talk to you?
Before I ventured into advocacy, they're the first people I reached out to, and I remember my mom saying, you go ahead and do what God has asked you to do. For us, we love you the way you are. We are happy that that is the past.
Yeah.
And And we are happy at what is coming out of this advocacy. You've set up a CBU, you're reaching out, you're working with the youth, you're working with different organizations in the same, with the same cause. So keep doing it. And I look at the whole situation or the life, and I feel, having survived many incidences, many don't. Like we're saying, 3 million die, and that is statistics for 2020 or before COVID, every year by World Health Organization.
And COVID, hey, we are not even...
Yes.
COVID.
So when you are alive, the name of the organization was just a testimony saying, by the grace of God, I made it, and I'm able to speak about recovery. That's why all these organizations are called Graceful Youth. Grace. The grace and I just remember the name just popping up, and it's supposed of grace of God, because I would have gone a long time.
Yes.
Many people don't make it. And many people say, today is my last time, and they end up either overdosing or they end up getting into an accident, and and there's no opportunity to
no
stop.
Second chance.
No second chance or to stop. So a lot has happened. With my son is to encourage him,
educate,
and and also encouraging him to be open, because remember, the issue is some underlying problem, either trauma or depression.
It is an underlying issue.
It's an underlying issue. I was reading somewhere, someone was saying, someone living with an addiction was admitted in hospital, and he was being asked, what brought you here? This guy was saying, I'm here because I had a heart attack, and this other guy is asking, and the guy is asking him, why are you in the hospital? Then he's saying, because I'm addicted. And he says, no, that is what is the real problem, because an addiction is just a cover-up of deep hurts or things that you have not addressed. So I always encourage those people who are unable to stop drinking to just ask themselves some key questions. What do you get from that drink? Why is it that the thought of stopping use of that substance scares you? It scares people. It's become someone's identity. I cannot function without this drink. How it makes you feel. But then it gets to a point that the euphoria it used to give you is no longer there. Now you're just drinking just to numb yourself from the real issues. And there's help. You need to seek out help. There's professionals in the field of addiction. There are rehabilitation centers. There's counselors. There's psychiatrists, psychologists. Just reach out for the help.
You need to reach out. There are people who live with someone who's struggling, and they're wondering, how can I get them to see? Because you see, acceptance is a stage on its own. How can I get them to see that they have a problem? Is there anything you'd tell someone how they can talk to someone who's struggling for them to see?
Many people are very harsh to those people who are using. They will call them names. They will tell them how they're either failures or they're not able to do this and this because of their drinking. If you could use a different approach, number one, stop name calling, and then look for them when they are sober, not when they are high.
That window,
just when they're sober, and just have conversations, and reference. Don't go to last year you did and you have been doing. Just say yesterday, you drank. Don't even say too much. When you were tipsy or when you were drunk, you did some things that really hurt me, and I got concerned because of the way you did this and this and this. And I would really wish you to consider talking it out, or we can be able to get someone to assist us speak about it. because you have not attacked, they don't need to defend themselves.
Okay.
And it may not happen overnight. It's just that don't be aggressive towards them. But as you speak to them, also be straight to the point. What the drinking or that habit is doing to you, maybe as a wife, you as a parent, let them know.
Or even as a child.
Or as a child, let them know.
Yeah.
Because many of us are tiptoeing around it. They're not calling it as it is.
Yeah.
Just call it as it is, but minus the insults, because Walevis have bear all the brands. We've been called names. We've been called names, and it's part of life. But then again, we are trying to empathize so that they can also be open to us, because that drinking could be either they're going through a financial crisis. You never know. Or they say men are not able to open up as much as women. And maybe this man has no outlet. He doesn't feel comfortable to speak. He has expectations, by societal expectations, to meet. And with societal expectations, it takes time to change, to stop perceiving in a certain way.
Yeah.
So you need to create an environment where they can be able to open up. And in most treatment or therapies, you find psychosocial support is number one. And an expert or a psychologist will be able to guide you on how best to talk to this person so that they can be able to open up. Yeah. So if you can also research on that area, then you can be able to be equipped on how to handle.
Can someone be forced to go to rehab? Or it
by
has
law,
to be voluntary?
It needs to be voluntary. But through the Mental Health Act, if the family feels like there's a threat, you can get a court order.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you have to get the Mental Health Act is very clear.
We have a Mental Health Act in Kenya?
Yes.
My God. You knew?
Yeah.
Now? I didn't know
I
about
think
that.
The recent one is 2021,
Wow.
I believe. Yeah.
We've made progress.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's, but obviously there are many who are tricked into rehab and they are upset. But you need consent.
Yes.
You need consent. Many find themselves there. There are those ones who, I've met people who are so happy they were forced into rehab.
Oh, yeah.
They
So
were
the result is
arrested.
good.
Yeah, some people.
Yeah.
But by law, it's a violation if you force them in. But if
Consent is key.
yeah, consent is key.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, it makes sense that if I consent to a treatment plan, I'll be committed. If I'm forced into it, there are many people who are in rehabs or in treatment by force, and they're like, okay, here goes another one. And immediately they leave. They're back to the bottle. Okay. So it's important to get consent and also just learn more about mental health so that you know how to deal with.
Okay. On the last question I had, so there's this aspect of there's what we've learned. There's the person and then there's the alcoholism, which is it's a disease.
Yeah.
Then this alcoholism can affect the people around you. They want to be there for you because when you love someone, you love someone. If it's your child, it's not natural to give up on them.
Yeah.
But in the same reality, you need to protect your mental health so that you're not drowning with them. Is there a way you tell caregivers or support family to support this alcoholic person while taking care of their own health? Being alert to that. Yeah.
Number one, is first to really emphasize on the need to seek treatment. Is to seek treatment. Then number two, there's something called codependency. You'll find most caregivers, could be the husband or wife or a relative, he has been the enabler. So you need to break that codependency. And that's why we are saying highlight the issue. If you notice that all the money is being used for alcohol, then even if you have a joint account, you can be able to
Restrict access.
restrict, yes, because if all that money is going to buy alcohol or the substance, so it's very important to be empathetic and not sympathetic, because as you ignore the behaviors that are coming about because of the disease, then it interferes with the family dynamics and it will only get worse. So we really, really encourage that you get intervention early, even if you were to get a counselor or a friend, someone who this person trusts, so that they can have that conversation and work on a treatment plan.
I'm hearing you saying enabler. What is an enabler? What does enabling look like?
Enabling is I'll give an example with can we use a child and a parent?
Yeah, that's okay.
For example.
Yeah.
So you have a parent who has a child who is using different drugs, and they will keep getting accidents, and the parent will fix the car and will allow the child to still use their vehicle, or will just keep everything okay like nothing happened. That's enabling.
Okay.
That's enabling. When the constant call with addiction, you will know the signs are all focus is on the substance. So most of the time their health will have deteriorated, even their physical look. All money goes to the substance, so they probably have not paid their rent. Now this is in general. They haven't paid their rent. They have food they need to buy. They don't focus on buying food. So they'll keep calling you and saying, hey, just send me money. I need to buy food. That constance, you're enabling the habit, because you know this person has a disease. And that money, automatically will go to buying a substance. So you just say no. Today you say, I don't have money. And you see what they will do. They will do anything to get it. So when you find those who are close to the person saying no to him, he probably will get so desperate and maybe not be able to access the substance, or it will be a point where they reconsider and say, this thing has really had me in a very bad place because no one is even supporting me, and they may seek help. So enabling is that environment of support, and especially the habit that you don't mind them going where they've been going, giving them the money, and then being quiet about it.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
And there's also functional alcoholics. The bill is paid, everything is on time, but they're still struggling.
Yes.
So that's a different. I feel like in society it's even more common with function. Just the same way you were saying, you're going to work, you're showing up, you're seemingly doing what you're supposed to do, but you're still struggling.
Yeah, there are different stages of alcoholism. So at the beginning is experimenting, then now you get used to it, then you get dependent, and then finally it controls you. Okay. So it doesn't happen, it's stages. Okay. So functional alcoholism is just in quotes, because alcoholism is alcoholism. It's dependence. And unfortunately, if you removed the drink from the equation, these people would not function. But then they're able to do everything when they have the drink. So even that one is an issue that needs to be tackled. Many Kenyans keep saying, me, I'm functional, and there's no big deal. And everyone is like this. It's a symptom of a disease.
I get you.
Yeah, it's a symptom of a disease.
Thank you, Nkatha. Believe your story will help someone. Yeah. Is there anything you tell someone struggling with the same thing? They are struggling to stop. They are watching this.
Yes.
Yeah. Is there any message you would tell them?
Oh, wow. I would encourage you who is watching and has tried stopping, it could be cannabis, it could be alcohol, all that. I would urge you to just look deep into yourself and ask yourself, why do you need this substance to live? There must be something that you're trying to cope with. And if you're not able to talk to anyone who is close to you, you can be able to call a number. And there's so many helplines. You can use the Red Cross helplines where they have counselors. You can call us at Graceful Youth Recovery Center. We can be able to connect you to experts in that field, in addictions. But if you are tired of that drink and you know it is causing you more harm, there's help. There's help. And it's because it is a disease. Many people think it's you who has brought the problem on your own, onto yourself, but there is help. Nkatha has a helpline, it's 1192. Red Cross has a helpline, it's 1191. For us, you can get us on 0722 934273, and we can start this conversation and a recovery journey. And you are not alone. I know you must be feeling lonely, helpless. You must be wondering, oh my goodness, how did I get here? It's not only you. It happens when you use substances. It's a drug. It alters the way your brain functions. It alters the way your body functions. So just reach out for the necessary help. Yeah.
So thank you so much. It's been an honor having you. Hey, I told you, I've been looking for you.
Yeah.
It's not easy to get Nkatha. But it's amazing that God aligned us last year to meet. And I feel like this conversation will help someone who's struggling or a loved one who's struggling to understand what is happening, because we've demystified the problem. True. What is alcoholism and what kind of struggles these people have. Yeah, it's just not them. It's a struggle.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing your story. I'm very honored to have you here.
Thank you.
I look forward to even joining one of, your Sober Living Summits, just to be a part of it, and youth mentorship.
Yes.
Because through your content, I feel like you have really, if I'm an example that it has impacted someone, that we stop normalizing alcohol, because the damage is not, people are not talking about the damage as much as the advertisements are loud. They should be louder on the repercussions of it. Because it's costing lives, it's costing families, it's costing a lot of things. So thank you for sharing. It was a pleasure having you. We are cheering you on 7 years in December.
6.
Right?
It will be 7 years in December.
7 completion.
March, and this
Congratulations.
We say thank you so much.
Yeah.
And for me, I remember hearing your story at Unmothering, and I was just wondering, how did you cope? And it's with such conversations which seem so private and people don't want to share. Just you opening up has enabled and has enabled many have these conversations on how to cope and just emphasize on the need for mental wellness.
Yes.
Many people are confused when they go through trauma, when they go through setbacks or challenges. And when we have these conversations, they know there's another way out.
Yeah.
Talking out helps, seeking professional helps, and just knowing that your story, whatever you're going through is
nothing new. It's
nothing new.
Nothing new.
And it is possible that you can overcome. Just master the resilience.
And it's not too late.
And it's
no
not
matter
too
your
late.
age, no matter
And you know what makes me laugh the most now is all I speak about is advantages of adversity. I'm not saying it's good to go through what I went through, but the fact that I overcame by God's grace has opened many doors, many opportunities, and has allowed us also to go into the community with a purpose.
Yeah.
So those are the advantages. I don't think if I didn't
used
go through what I went through, nothing.
Yeah.
It humanized me and humbled me. So I'm so happy to have sat through in this conversation with you.
Did you say you're not? Would you go back to flying?
No, those are dreams. I have dreams.
Dreams come true.
I have dreams. I see. I will go back to
Definitely. We
flying.
are cheering you on.
And I will keep you updated because you will see it.
We will see.
It's
you.
part of the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
so until next time, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you learned something about alcoholism and alcohol recovery. Leave us a comment in the comment section. Tell us something about this topic. What has touched you the most about Nkatha's journey? What do you think you've taken away from this episode? Until next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.